I don't think that this person acted out on an anti-Semitic desire or is a fucking Nazi or anything like that. What do you mean, why did you ban him, though? That person is a Nazi, okay? After watching your fucking Nazi apologia video, it's just Nazi. The very fact that a person who is this legible, it's more dangerous that you got dudes who aren't insane doing this. Because the dude who did this last night is not insane. One thing I will say about this manifesto is that it is shockingly well written and thought out for being a shooter manifesto. Exactly.
So, our friendly local multimillionaire communist really got himself into it this time. He just received another temporary ban, this time for improper handling of extremist material. After he read the shooter's manifesto on stream under the guise of wanting his audience to understand the real motive. A motive that he seems to agree with. Look, we've been through this before. I'm not the defend Israel guy or the defend Palestine guy. I'm just kind of the let's not glaze extremists irresponsibly to our audience of thousands of impressionable young trust fund commies guy. Anyway, take a look at Hasan's latest oopsie.
Holy Toledo, does anyone have a blast off meme or what? I don't, no, dude, I can't. Yeah, I'm not gonna use this, dude. Y'all are so stupid. Give me, okay, guys, this is not like, this is not a time to be fucking, it's not a time for you to say fun, wild, edgy things. Okay, there are probably 1,000 people in the chat currently documenting every single thing that you guys are saying in an effort to basically tie it back to me and this community and rob it of its context or anything like that, and to try to get me deplatformed. Like, lock in, stop Fed posting. It's not time for memes. Just because you're anonymous doesn't mean you will stay anonymous. All this stuff, okay? I thought you said it was cool. What was?
Like, think about this. What other streamer would have to preemptively hit their chat with this sort of message? Hasan is saying it because he knows damn well what would happen if he didn't. Hell, even after this little talk, Hasan still didn't trust his chat to stay in line. So he ended up setting his chat to emoji-only mode later on while he's reading the manifesto. Which brings me to another point. Hasan has actually even locked the invites to his Discord while this spotlight has been shunned on him. And my thoughts on why he did that is because he knows damn well all the crazy shit that is said in there. I mean, if you thought his Twitch chat was bad, you should see his Discord. Anyway, let's let Hasan get on with it and try to hot potato the allegations of promoting extremism and put the spotlight on other people like Tim Pool and off of himself.
Where is the manifesto? I know it's on Ken's Substack. I'm trying to find. Oh, here. The manifesto is indeed that of the Israeli embassy shooter. He previously used his email address, elias94@gmail.com, for the account Kyoto Loather, but was, oh shit, it got suspended in the meantime. He claims banned after DMing death threats to Will Stansel. But here is the alleged manifesto written by Elias Rodriguez. Kenny Clips has it. Suspecting the killing of 2 Israeli embassy staffers in Washington, D.C. I believe the document to be authentic for several reasons, including the fact that it is signed by Rodriguez and timestamped well before he was named by law enforcement or any media. Metropolitan Police Chief Pamela A. Smith identified Rodriguez as a 30-year-old man from Chicago who she says shouted free Palestine at the scene. The manifesto echoes this message, citing the war in Gaza as a central grievance and framing the killings as an act of political protest. Below is the document in full. Why are you doing cooked? He was not following me. What the do you mean? He was, however, following a bunch of I mean, he was following Joe Weisenthal, you know what I mean? That's why it's so crazy that these motherfuckers are like lying and saying that this guy was a fan of mine or something. He was a Sneeko fan? No, he wasn't. I don't think he was a Sneeko fan at all. I'd be surprised. You get Thanos snapped if you ever spoke your name on the internet. You know what's crazy about that, by the way? There are literal white supremacist shooters who have identified why they are doing this act of like insane white supremacist violence, whether it be like a mall in El Paso or a fucking synagogue or a black church or whatever, and they will openly be like, I'm doing this because Tim Pool. I'm doing this because I love Tim Pool and I think Tim Pool is right. I'm doing this because Ben Shapiro convinced me to do this. And none of that is ever litigated. None of that, okay? That's First Amendment protected. That connection is not stochastic terrorism. That doesn't work. Meanwhile, all of those people will then turn around without even a shred of decency, a hint of irony whatsoever, and turn around and be like, this guy, he's Hasan. Instead of Hamas, I'm saying Hasan.
See, the difference is, Hasan, these people you're naming don't literally glaze shooters talking about how hot they are because they think the shooter has like maybe a similar political compass as them. These people are pointing the finger at you because of how you treat situations like this so damn irresponsibly. All because you want to dog whistle to your commie chat that you are just as radical as them. But is it even a dog whistle at this point when you're doing stuff like this?
Confirmed male shot in the confines of Midtown North.
Police say it was around 6:45 a.m. Wednesday when the suspect, pictured at a Starbucks before the shooting, gunned down Thompson as he was walking alone into the Hilton for an investors conference. And in new video overnight, the shooter seen here about 20 minutes before the shooting.
They're looking for a male about 5 feet 10 inches in height. Cream color.
Yo, by the way, like, you know, don't get mad at me. I don't want to be like inappropriate here, but he looks kind of hot, dude. I cannot be the only person who immediately went, wow, clearly this guy has interesting style and also is kind of attractive. Which is part of the reason why I thought if they catch him and he gets his message out and he's hot, it's going to be a far more consequential problem. New camera footage. Oh, yeah. Also, I don't know if this is the actual guy, but like, you know, even from the first photo where you can kind of see his face, like he looks fucking hot. So it's like, if you're a CEO in one of these sectors, I'm not going to lie, dog, like quit or, you know, bankrupt the company and then start advocating for full-blown healthcare, full communist healthcare, okay? Because goddamn, it's not me. I look, you're a titan of enterprise, okay? And so am I. You know, I'm a rich guy myself. I would never say anything like that, but it seems like other people are saying it. Not me. Can't catch me slipping. I'm not saying it. But other people certainly are saying it. Look. This statement in and of itself is not celebrating this heinous act, okay? This is wrong. Wrong act. You understand me? I would never do such a thing. I would never. You can't catch me slipping today. Do you understand?
The answer would be no. At this point, it is not even a dog whistle. You're just being completely blatant with it. Simply because you think you could get away with it. Because most of the time you can. But right now, just a bit too many eyes are on you. Not to mention, dude, you're just causing a massive problem for Twitch as a whole. Not that you care, clearly. They can only give you so many temporary bans just to save face. After a while, it just all starts to ring pretty hollow. You can only glaze shooters your political compass agrees with so many times to thousands of people till people start asking the question, is your commentary helping the situation, or is it actively making it worse? And possibly even encouraging people to do similar things. Anyway, let's go back to him reading this manifesto. And while we do, let's keep an extra eye on his chat and see what's going on in there. Take a look at what's being said and how it all of a sudden gets put into emoji only mode. What I find a little weird though is he will do this if it's going to damage himself. But he won't do this when his former friend Ethan is being torn apart by his community. He just acted like he had no idea it was even happening. Kind of funny how that works. Just a thought. Anyway, him throwing it into emoji only mode stopped pretty much nothing. These guys in his chat still found a way to glaze this guy just with emojis. And remember, the guy that they're glazing is a confirmed shooter.
The atrocities committed by Israelis against Palestine defy description and defy quantification. Instead of reading descriptions mostly, we watch them unfold on video, sometimes live. After a few months of rapidly mounting death tolls, Israel had obliterated the capacity to even continue counting the dead, which has served its side well. All enabled by Western and Arab government complicity. The Gaza Information Office includes the 10,000 under the rubble with the dead in their own count. I have no trouble believing the estimates that put the toll at 100,000 or more. More have been murdered since March of this year than in the Protective Edge and Kasled put together. These are two previous sieges that Israel implemented on Gaza in the past. Now, the reason why I read this manifesto is oftentimes to understand that is oftentimes to understand the mindset of this person, especially when there are a lot of mainstream narratives that will immediately design an alternative scenario. I don't think that this person acted out on an anti-desire or is a Nazi or anything like that, but that is dangerous in a separate way.
Yeah, he's totally not a Nazi, guys. I mean, you know what? Fair, dude. Maybe he isn't, but you know what I find weird is that you call random commenters and creators Nazis all the time for the most, low-level hanging fruit you could possibly imagine.
What do you mean, why did you ban him, though? That person is a Nazi, okay? After watching your fucking Nazi apologia video, it's just Nazi.
What I'm just wondering is, why is it here that you draw the line all of a sudden? Why is it the guy that murdered two Israelis that is not a Nazi? Look, all I'm saying is your barometer for who is and isn't a Nazi is just kind of whack. And what's with this about calling the guy not insane? This is the most weird tightrope walk trying to support the man while exactly not trying to say it. Also, you could try to stay in safe standings with Twitch. Well, looks like you missed the mark with that one just by a bit. Because he did receive a ban, even though it was only a pitiful 24 hours.
Okay? The very fact that a person who is this legible, okay, the very fact that a person who has their shit together enough to be able to write a fucking write prose such as this one in the act of vengeance, in the act of vigilante justice in his own mind is meaningful in and of itself. It's meaningful because it means that there are people who haven't lost their minds that also see and are choosing to take action such as this, taking action such as this that is terrifying for the average person, okay? Regardless of what their position is. One thing I will say about this manifesto is that it is shockingly well written and thought out for being a shooter manifesto. Exactly.
That's a lot of disturbing glazing happening in that guy's chat. Then people really have the audacity to wonder why Hasan gets hit with improperly handling extremist material? Come on, guys. Him reading the manifesto basically turned to a suck-in fest to fawn over the perp in his chat. Hasan disputes the idea that this guy was a viewer of him. You know, let's just assume he is correct in saying that. I would say with the rhetoric he's been spewing lately, it's literally only a matter of time before this becomes a verifiable fact. Maybe not this time with this shooter, but at this point, it's an inevitability. And people are starting to point this out. Just like this guy from the ADL did on CNN the other day. He specifically fingered Hasan in the wake of this. But let me preface this first by saying, you know, I'm not really a fan of the ADL, but what this guy is saying about Hasan is just correct.
Jonathan, thank you for being here. But I mean, what do you do with this? It is just horrific.
Look, first of all, I think all of our hearts break for the young couple who was killed, for everyone in the Washington, D.C. community. I mean, think about it. These people, their only offense was going to the Jewish museum. They were killed because they attended a Jewish event. I mean, I gotta say, Kate, in many ways, this was inevitable. I mean, think about the data. We've talked about it before. ADL systematically tracks anti-Semitic incidents. We have seen a historic rise. 5 out of the last 6 years, we've reached record numbers. And look, 6 weeks ago, a man firebombed the governor's mansion in Harrisburg and tried to kill Josh Shapiro.
Okay, that dude was insane, by the way. Like, it's more dangerous that you got dudes who aren't insane doing this. Because the dude who did this last night is not insane. Like, the guy who firebombed Josh Shapiro's governor's mansion was like so mentally ill. He thought that Josh Shapiro was like actively trying to kidnap his daughters or some shit. This, on the other hand, is not the work of an insane person.
But all of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hasan Piker, who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in the Jewish state. Like,
I think this is like not only defamation against me, but I think it's also defamation against the New York Times too. Because they also wrote my dehumanizing anti-Semitic sentiment. Of course, they wrote it in the most New York Times way possible, but they put it in the record where they said I accuse Israel of doing a genocide. You know? Because if that's his framework, did you know that was coming? Yeah, I saw it this morning. It is defamation. He's a slanderous piece of shit.
Is it defamation, Hasan? Is it really? Well, how about you take that case up and see how well it goes for you, man? In fact, how about you live stream it for us all to watch? I'm sure it will end up wonderfully for you. Think about the content, dude. Gosh, this guy is just completely insufferable. And not to mention, at this point, dangerous. Like I said, it's only a matter of time. Imagine only giving this guy a 1-day ban after he repeatedly violates the same part of the policy regarding improper handling of extremist material. How many times has he done it at this point? Crazy. You know, I really wonder how long Twitch is just gonna allow this guy to be a total PR nightmare for their company. Not to mention just completely destroying the website's ability to be advertisable or to take on advertisers. Jeez. Anyway, I said my bit, guys. I hope you guys liked the video, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want to see more content like this, YouTube thinks you're gonna like this video right here.